I said, what's up, cats? How's it going? Welcome back to the stream. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be here again with a working setup where there is internet and power and all of these obstacles have been overcome. Yeah, no, seriously, I'm feeling better about this week and the stream, and looking forward to sharing today's exciting activities with you. Take a listen to what we're currently working on. At the moment, we've got this trap kit, which is just running a very simple bass called a kick drum. And we got this bass line over here, which is running this kind of wavetable sounding low end, and then this plucky melody line. Now I want to get into all this stuff as we go through the stream today. We're making cyberpunk music. In a couple of weeks I will be releasing a template to Patreon and YouTube. All the tracks that I'm making now are going to be available to use in your own videos and games for free. If you'd like to edit the templates and have the project files accessible to you, you're welcome to download them as a paid Patreon member. $6 a month at the moment gets you that. So if that sounds good, you can also join as a free Patreon member, and that will enable you to get an email every time I publish something new. Typically 2 or 3 of these projects per month go out. All of the project files are included, all of the devices that I create are included, samples are all included, VSTs are all included, no missing files or samples. So really easy to use, good way to learn how to get going on Ableton if you're new to the game. That's the salesy stuff out the way, and thank you to those of you who have been subscribing. My growth is going up like this now. I've just hit 1,000 and I'm starting to see some interest in what I'm doing from people. Had a couple of commissions a few weeks ago, and I mean, that's a huge thing, right? Like, just picking up a commission is like huge. People find you on YouTube. It's amazing. So all hail YouTube. Take a listen to this next scene. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm quite stoked about today and the way that this is going. There are challenges, but hey man, let's face them together, right? We are the Ableton music makers. Okay. It's this part over here. Alright. Let's just take it back a step. I want to give you a sense of what I've been up to so you can understand what's going on here. Alright, cool. Pause for now. Alright, so what are we working with here? We've got trap kit. Let's just take a look at these channel by channel. Reference I'm going to get back to. Premaster is my standard pre-mastering chain, which right now I'm actually going to replace with this. You can't see it, but I'll move out the way. Down here you'll see the premaster chain load, and I've been using this for all of my recent releases, and it sounds pretty nice. So when you download these packs, you'll get this premaster chain included, although I do take isotope ozone off the chain because I want the packs to be available to people without any missing files or VSTs. So you don't get isotope, I don't distribute that, but everything else, the music and all the other production decisions are included. So that's the premaster. The drums over here are, it's a group track. I've got 3 of these groups together. And this trap kit is quite a beast. I will just take you through the trap kit one line at a time. As you see here, we've got standard sort of divisions of drums for trap kits. So an 808, I'll just play them as we go. Probably an octave low, right? Let's just take a look. Where are we? Under trap, there we go. Cool, octave high. So there's a nice 808 sound, but what I've done is I've MIDI mapped all of the different drum sounds, the samples, 808 kick, snare, clap, hi-hat 1, hi-hat 2, FX, and I haven't labeled this, but it's crash. I can actually just go ahead and label that now. I've mapped them all to these keys, these pots on the device in front of me. Let's just label this guy real quick, crash. Okay. So check it out. When I hit the 808 sound, I'm also able to then take this knob over here and tweak it. And you see that little blue line, that's the chain selector. That is selecting between a whole bunch of different 808 sounds. So you got a lot of options for different sounding different sounding samples under the category of 808. So this is really useful for Cyberpunk because you might know that these kinds of low-end trap influenced, industrial influenced sounds are pretty big in the soundtrack, Cyberpunk soundtrack sort of field. So that's a good starting point. But that's just one drum in this entire channel. Next up, we've got a kick. Same rule applies. You can cycle through various kicks like that. Very cool. Snares. Snare I have done something different with. Why did snare not work there for a second? Oh, because I'm hitting the wrong one. Okay. Each one of these keys is each one of the drum samples, etc. You get the idea. Clap is over here. Tons of claps. Hi-hat 1. I deliberately haven't called them hi-hat open and closed because they're mixed, basically. Each one of these banks contains mixed. So that's hi-hat 1 and 2. Effects. Effects is mainly like these weird gunshot sounds and things. Don't know if it's much use. Maybe I'll change some of those out to like sweeps, something more useful. And then the last one is crashes. You've got a couple of crashes. Tons of sounds to work with there. Very cool. And so this entire trap kit, I'm going to rename it trap kit. It's actually Cyber Kit. And I'm going to work on Cyber Kit as a release, as an instrument release, so that you can use it in your own projects, and that'll be included with all of the paid Patreon downloads. So think about that. So this entire approach for this project so far has been different to how I normally work. Normally, when I think of creating new music, I think in terms of chords and melodic stuff and structure, how it's going to progress and track. This time around, I'm changing hats completely. I'm thinking like a producer first and a musician second. So that means getting access to the palette of sounds that I want to work with first, and then seeing what comes out the pipe, rather than saying I'm looking for a piano sound, let me go hunt a piano sound. I'm saying Cyberpunk typically has, for example, at any given time, it's got like a very gritty, noisy polysynth texture that serves as the harmony role. So I'm going to create that texture, that sound first, and then write the music once it's already set up. So the whole thing is actually more about project setup than composition. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3 streams. I've actually just been collecting sounds and creating this mega template that I will use as the starting point for the 10 tracks that I aim to release, like in the Cyberpunk genre. So I hope that all makes sense. Just kind of giving you a sense of my approach for this whole project. Okay, so next step is I went and looked on Massive, in Native Instruments Massive, one of the big popular synths out there. Here it is. I went through their list of hundreds of different patches, and I found ones that I thought were pretty useful for the genre that I'm aiming for here. So let's just get the patches, plugins, and key switches documents out. You can take a look. Let's get that into dark mode. Okay. Yeah, cool. That we're not looking at that. Cool. Sorry, just changing a few settings here. Cool. So under the sci-fi section over here, I selected a bunch of patches that I thought would work well for different roles in the track, and then I loaded up those instruments. So for example, here's the bass instrument, and it is it happens to be called Crayon. So first thing I did was I previewed that. I gave it a listen. Let's give it a listen down here. Cool, so that's that Crayon patch, and then I'd try to copy it using only Ableton instruments, default Ableton instruments, and that's my take on it. So you can hear it sounds pretty similar. Let's try it again. So this is the oh no, wait, I've done the wrong thing. It sounds similar because it's exactly the same patch. There we go, cool. There's the there's the Massive one, and there's my one over there. I'm just going to get out of the way. You can see what I'm doing. Cool. I'm A-Bing, so this is Massive, and this is my one. I've deliberately subdued it a bit because I didn't want that bite. But the point is, I'm starting with existing Cyberpunk sort of palette of sounds and then replicating it in Ableton, so that you, the user, the downloader of these projects, have the ability to create these cool sounds, but without having to actually have a copy of Massive. It's just a better way to learn when you're not dealing with VSTs. And me releasing more portable tracks like this is a better way for me to like connect with people. Same with harmony. Let's take a listen to the patch which I loaded in Massive first. Here it is over here. It's called Dark and Fragile, and we're going to hear it in a second. Here we go. That's it. And now let's hear my take on it, the reverse engineered version. It's quite similar. It's got some differences, but it plays the same function, it plays the same role in the track, and that's what's important. Okay, and then I'll keep going with those in that same fashion. I'm going to keep on basically reproducing these tracks, these sounds. So in the meantime, what I've done is I've started, I mean, I couldn't really help myself. I just started writing the music, you know. Maybe getting a bit ahead of myself, but I can't not, you know. So this is where we're at right now. If you just joined, I'm writing cyberpunk music, cyberpunk themed music for game makers and video creators to use in their own productions. It's license free, meaning that you can edit it, you can make your own versions of it, you can create loops out of it and use it in your games and videos without having to go through me, without having to ask for permission. You have permission. And mainly just, using this as a platform to meet other producers and, share the knowledge and, gain some patrons. Obviously, that's a goal, but, really just having a daily labor of love, and that's what the stream is about. You should know that by now. I hope you do. Okay, let's bring in that harmony. 4. Forgot to add the hi-hats to the... There we go, cool. We're adding hi-hats to the kick, so now you should hear a little bit of top end on the kick. That's it. I'll adjust the levels of that later. Cool. Okay, before we continue... this is lovely, but let's finish with the actual project setup here. So that can just serve as a kind of a demo. Got a long way to go. I've got to write 10 tracks. Let's first just take this melody instrument and try and find something similar to it within the native Ableton library. So I'm going to be just scrolling patches out of sight here on the right hand side. Let me just get on the right. Yeah, I'll just lurk over here. I'm going to scroll patches under wavetable lead. Let's just go straight for lead sounds. Maybe we'll find something cool in there. You can't hear these, but I can. And what we're looking for... That's quite a similar one, I think, atom lead. So let's try that. We're going to create a new track here next to melodic and use atom lead in it as a starting point and then tweak. So finding the... Oop, that's quite high, quite low. That's too broad. Let's keep going. Closing your eyes is a good way to like get the honest truth about what you're actually hearing. Let's try this one. Nah, way off. Nah, way off. So for some reason that sounded good in the... These all sound so Ableton to me, you know, just like... This is a standard operating procedure for any producers, just scrolling patches for days and days. No, go back to sounds. I wish this browser had a back button, the Ableton browser. That's not too bad. Let's try that. Let's see if that fits. Maybe we could work this. Let's try it out. It sounds like it's got too many voices. Let's take that down to 2. I think it's also octave. There's also a delay on this melody. I'm going to just steal the delay from the harmony and paste it onto the melody so we can get a more similar sound. If you just joined, what I'm doing is reverse engineering massive patches for a Cyberpunk sound palette. So that's the target track. That's what I want to emulate. And that's quite cool. It's not actually the amp that we want, it's the envelope. What happened there? Let's try reset it. Cool. Oh. Wow, 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 wow. What do we actually want to do? There's a second oscillator. Where's the first one? That's better, yeah. Okay, so oscillator 1 can come down in volume, so we'll go to the matrix and turn down oscillator 1 position. No. How do we turn down the actual volume of oscillator 1? Just do it here, huh? That's better. Cool, and now let's just why have we got no delay whatsoever? That's it, and we don't want ping pong. Cool, feedback up, dry weight up. That's it. Ping pong back on. Width can be lower. No, it's not ping pong. Seems a bit too noisy for this sound, actually. This might be the wrong patch to start with, huh? Down. And also we've got bring it up. I'm gonna keep going. Keep spelunking. That's it. It's a square wave, yeah. That's the most similar one I've heard so far. So I'm undoing all of my changes and just, that's better, yeah. Okay, we're also an octave low. That's the closest one I found. Squares. It's called squares. That's what it's called. You have to say it like that. Squares. There's the title right there if you don't believe me. Okay, cool kids. Not going to spend too much longer on this. Let's take this amp up a bit. And now what we're going to do is just copy over these melodic sounds and see if they sound good enough in the track to work with. Here we go. I like the... That's good enough, right? So now we're going to call that Mel. And give it the honorable color of purple, which I think is this one. Shoot to the moon. No, which one is it? It's that one. Okay, cool. All right, great. So now we've got bass. We've emulated a bass sound. We've emulated a harmony sound. We've emulated a melodic sound. I'm going to save this project. The next step is going to be this texture. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to really emulate it because it's just so complex. Take a listen. Nope, that's not it. It's this. So I don't have the ability to like emulate that texture. So what I'm going to do in the meantime, well, I do, but it's going to take too long. What I'm going to do is sample those out. I'm going to find scratchy stuff like that works, digital distortion sounds that suit the cyberpunk genre, and I'm going to sample them out, maybe make a sampler out of them, and then just use that throughout the entire project. So I'm going to be writing 10 tracks in the cyberpunk genre, and I need to have a good base of sounds to draw on so that I'm not constantly hunting for the right, tones and textures throughout the project. The actual composition must come naturally as a result of having access to all of the tools and colors that you've done the work of collecting. That's what we're doing today. That's what I've been doing for the last 3 streams. And hopefully by the end of today, I'm going to have a bigger pool of sounds to draw from. So what I got to do now is just make a note that this here, there's a way to make notes in Ableton, isn't there? Is it Control I or is it Shift I? How do you make a note? I know there used to be a way to do this. And you can insert information basically about special information. But anyway, let's get on with the track. Take a listen. So this is now just using the emulated sounds that I've copied from Massive. Here's the original sound. It's called Crayon. This patch name is called Crayon, so I'm going to call my emulated sound bass Massive Crayon. Well, you know what? I don't even really need to do this. It's just going to complicate things. I've got the notes already in my patches, plugins, and SE key switches. I've got the notes of the patches that I'm emulating here. Let's just give them, for example, a bold to give you an idea of which ones I've done. Dark and Fragile was the pad or the harmony. Cool, and the melody one was it Trance Time? Mel, this one here. Trance Time, correct. And like I mentioned the other day, a lot of this cyberpunk sound is influenced by trance music from, the 90s and after. So I'm going to be drawing on that too in order to create these sounds. Cool. Call this Massive Crayon Cyber Bass Massive Crayon. Actually, that's not. I want this. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Cyber Bass Massive Crayon. And we're gonna call this down here Cyber. Group those together and bring them. Cyber Pad Massive Fragile. That's right. And then we've got the last one, which is Squares, which I'm going to call Cyber Lead Massive Trance Time. Cyber Lead Massive Trance Time. If that doesn't make you want to get into the vibe, then nothing does. Nothing will. Cool. Let's work on the beat. I want this to go forward now. 2, 3, 4, dropping into just the beat. Or maybe just beat and bass. Let's try that. Let's go into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a diddle, 1 and a diddle, a diddle, 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 1 and a diddle, 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 1 and a one, diddle, diddle, diddle. Okay, nice. We know what we're after here. We're after one of these. I gotta zoom in a bit. It's a 3 out of 4. So here we go. That's it. It's almost like it's an African music beat. Dun 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 dun. Okay, so we'll start with this bass line just repeating, in which case we can do just a standard. Dun, dun. What are we in? The key of G minor, so we're going to go from a D minor, so we D to an F, D to a G, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Cool. Now, reverb is a big part of this game. We're going to need to set up some echoes for sure. First thing I'm going to do is load up an echo, because that is definitely one of the best onboard reverb sounds that I've worked with. Echo is great. All results. Let's stick echo in the send, and we're going to call this just reverb 1 basically. Give 2 different reverbs and we can mess with them differently. And then I'm also going to set up a third send, which is going to be quite useful. So add a third send over here, and that is going to be a delay. It's always good to have a delay and a couple of reverbs just generally available, like broadly available to you, so you can see what things sound like when you pump up volumes and that kind of thing. Cool. And these guys over here, they're kind of utility tracks, so I'm just going to give them a gray color. Okay, and I haven't figured out what roles they play just yet, but what I do know is that, for example, if I wanted to do that kind of thing, then I could do that nicely. That's the type of thing that ambient effects, it's a work in progress for me. I've got to figure out how to do that stuff more. Cool. Alright, that's a good starting point there. Now let me just take a pause for a minute. I'm going to listen to some stuff on some of the Cyberpunk influenced stuff that I've been listening to. I've got to just give it another listen basically. Okay, Cyberpunk. going to be loud. Okay, I'm currently listening to the stuff in the background. I don't want to get my stream flagged, so I'm not going to play it for you. I'm hearing big drums, like orchestral sort of sounds, kettle drums, that kind of thing. And then some typical dark and brooding stuff, which is not very difficult to do. While we're on it though, let us get a let's get a harmony, let's get an ambient sound roll. So here we've got texture. I'm going to save. Should I save these guys? Yeah, let's save these bass. I've got an idea, yes. I've got an idea. Let's redo this so that I've got the project that I'm going to be working on is going to have selections of. Yeah, okay, cool. These are the names of the patches. So what I want to be able to do is load up a channel, an entire channel that's been saved, and have all of the melodic instruments available to me in that channel so that I can select which one is appropriate or scroll through them. And then I will release this entire Cyberpunk template along with the actual accompanying music to Ableton creators to make their own music with or edit mine. That's the goal here. There's a lot of work to be done, and I'm doing it 1 hour a day at a time, so it's going to take a while. But I'm sharing the journey, and yeah, if you like the sound of it, you're welcome to hit sub, and yeah, drop a comment if you're bored today. I'm always enjoy chatting to people while I work. So for now, this is the one that has been emulated called Trance Time. Now I'm going to do the same for this one here. I'm going to call this Dark and Fragile. And we can we do this? No, we can't. Let's go Dark and Fragile. Cool. And let's do the same for the bass. So this is actually one pad. This whole thing needs to be one grouped instrument. Okay, just going to show you what I'm doing here. And I am taking this Cyber Massive Crayon patch, and I'm just going to rename this instrument rack, and we're going to go back one level and rename this one. Sorry, not that one. We're going to rename this one Cyber. This is pad, hey? Yeah, a bass, Cyber Bass. Oops. And this one of is Crayon. So one by one, we'll have 3 or 4 of these chains for each one of the patches that I'm seeking to emulate. And that way I'll be able to select which one of them is appropriate for each track, and the music will flow naturally after that. The effect of getting things ready and having things ready to play is that music generally just tends to flow out, literally like you turn on a tap. That's why I keep my instruments out. That's why I keep this setup ready, is once you've removed obstacles, music kind of happens on its own. Creativity happens on its own. So first things first, do the work of setting up patches and all that kind of thing, and then you can always come back later and tweak things, but mostly just get ready is what I'm saying. Okay, Cyber Bass, Harmony and Melody. Let's create a subfolder in my but actually get rid of all of this stuff. I don't use violins and vocals and all that stuff anymore. Those I kind of use, but not most. One super cool thing that we do have in our favor here is I've got access to Native Instruments cinematic percussion, and that's going to come in useful. I'm going to sample some of those drums and use them to get the right vibes. All right, Fox Live. I mean, honestly, all of this stuff needs to be. I need to do a little bit of like filtering on this track. Let's take a listen to these samples over here. WS99 Atmos. Okay, where are we at, kids? We've got this track called WS99 Atmos, and I'm going to just real quick route everything except for the pre-master to the pre-master, and then have a little control over that. Okay, I know there's not a lot of sound going on in today's stream. That's not intentional. We will get to the music, I promise. Okay, how are we doing here? Our pre-master's off. These are very good. Except they're all playing back on top of each other. Well, that's nice, yeah. These are very useful atmospheric sounds, yeah. See, that's a track starter right there, and then you hit something like that. Okay, cool. Just having samples running over in the background is generally a good idea. Cool. Still sounding pretty simple, but whatever. There's the texture I was talking about, this one. Just kind of like noisy stuff, you know? Keep it noisy. Okay, good. So this is the missing piece that I'm currently looking for. You've got texture and then you've got atmospherics, and this, from what I've been hearing, the Cyberpunk 2077 soundtrack contains a lot of atmospheric sound in the, you know, it's constantly just reverberating in the sort of sides. So I'm going to need a healthy amount of atmospheric sound to kind of complement the actual music I'm writing. One of my weak points has always been the like reluctance to use samples in my music. If these things are available and they are doing the job, then I think that is going to be the next step. So let's just load them all up. I'm going to load up all of these textured samples. We've got Atmos, Tech. Tech can become its own channel, and I'll just turn it into one big sort of super channel. Let's listen to Tech. There's a lot of these things, but they're all quite short, so yeah, this kind of thing works well. Okay, good. And then, yeah, actually, just suddenly realized I want to send this to the reverb and hear how it sounds. There we go. Let's hear it dry. Dry, it's like here, and it just feels like quite static. That's the effect that we're going for, definitely. All right. Great. And then you do the opposite with the bass. The bass has got to be as mono, dry, present as possible. Okay, we'll do those tweaks later, but that's good. We're still in the stage of building out a library or a palette of sounds which can be used for the rest of the track. Running quite warm on the production side here. My machine's not the best, so 3 or 4 wavetables is going to cripple my machine. But I think having a lot of samples will help, because samples are relatively low on the sort of CPU intensity. Okay, so we've got Atmos, texture, Atmos, Tech, and let's just get Tech. All right. Come on. Currently loading up a whole bunch of just general samples for use throughout the project. Maybe I'll find something cool. I'm not going to bother with other stuff like what is perk. Should we try it out? Let's try it out. What is perk? Let's stick it over here so you can see it. And perk is obviously percussion, but what kind of percussion? Nah. Very basic percussion. Nice impact. I like that. Oh, I like that too. My feeling is that, okay, these are organic, which is nice. I like organic sounds. But I think that everything that's in here, we're going to have covered something doing a similar role in one of these other packs that I've loaded here. So let's skip that. And there's one more over here called Vox. Now, Vox could come in handy because some of the stuff I've been listening to, Cyberpunk influence, has got like massive choirs. Now, I don't know if that's what this is, but let's give it a listen and try it out. So just first enable it and let's listen. No, that's robot voices. It's pretty cool, yeah. Sounds like C-3PO, Star Wars sounds. Yeah, this will create the right texture actually. This is a long one. I've been watching Mandalorian season 3. It's pretty cool. I love that aesthetic, that entire vibe of like lo-fi, high-tech, like future but rural, you know. It's very cool. Okay. Cool. Cool, so we can use some of these, for example, if we didn't want, we can get like, that kind of thing is a nice, it goes off everywhere, there's like, it's very stereo. Okay, cool. Cool, so let's continue with that then. We'll use WS Vox in our general atmospheric / texture channel. And then I do want to just keep a note of massive being, this massive channel over here being super useful. Although what's being covered there is actually, a lot of it is the similar, oh shit, sorry, that's going to play out a lot. Let's take all of those and distribute the ranges. So just take them all out here, doof doof. Distribute ranges equally, and now we get a, yeah, we can just play them one at a time. Atmosphere, tech, texture, and Vox. Okay. They should actually be 4 separate channels, seeing as there are going to be times where we need both. We can't split them like this. How are we going to do that? Grouping, I'm not entirely sold on grouping in Ableton. It does solve the problem, but I don't really like grouping in Ableton. Okay, I'll give that some thought, but for now we've got that. So I'm going to give that the honorary purple color and call it texture, because that's what it is. It's creating texture samples. So I haven't technically reverse engineered this massive sound, but I have found a similar sound for it. We now have 5 roles: bass, harmony, melody, texture, and drums. And that's really all you need for a track to work. So everything else in my experience is going to be a subdivision of one of these 5 roles: bass, drums, harmony, melody, and texture. And a lot of emphasis for this project, Cyberpunk, is going to be placed on texture and bass and drums, and harmony and melody are going to be kind of more filler roles. So let's put that into action. Here's what it sounds like so far. The track using the Cyberpunk palette I'm creating. Here we go. Starting out with just a basic one of these. We could also substitute out this bass for the other bass. This one. Depends on how much we want to feel it when we start. That can come down in volume a little bit, or just down in intensity. fact, I know what I did. This auto filter I didn't include. So that should be on the end there. Let's take it down a bit. That's what I wanted there, like that. Let's take it down even more. And now give it a nice echo. Cool, and I'll tweak that as we go. Let's do one more of these. I'm going to save it while I'm playing. And just move over to the left. And here is the next scene. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cha-cha! I've got to include the clap in there. It's in the wrong place. That's it. Cool. 2, 3, 4. Changing to the... I like the way it echoes out like that. Now we could go to some texture. So now let's bring in this kind of thing. Okay. Making some cyberpunk influenced music using these interesting sound palettes. So this is all you really need. You just got a bass and drum and some samples that work out nicely. It's definitely a droid sound, yeah. Star Wars, Cyberpunk, Mandalorian, I'm just watching at the moment, very cool. And then I'll bring in some guitar wherever possible. Can't use something that sounds too much like Star Wars. Texture is definitely going to have to be 4 or 5 different rolls though, because I want to overlap those samples as much as possible. Cool, and it's got a scene with just the melody and no bass. Take out the bass and we bring in just melody and harmony. Let's see how this sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you see the bass gets less busy. This is too loud. While we at it, let's get over to echo and make sure we've got 100% there because it is a send track. No point in having anything else. As a return track at least. And this hi-hat is just a bit too intrusive still for me, so I'm going to find it and basically cut its nuts off. Let's just take that down. It should be more about the kick than the hi-hat. That snare can also maybe be a little bit tweaked. Clap at least. This one. I'll go back to my... Where is it? Cool. I'm just gonna bring out the clap, which I think is here. Now down here. Top right. So now I can quite easily just listen to this by scrolling through here. I can preview different clap sounds. Okay, let's put ourselves in that world. Like that. Let's get some return tracks on here too. So the overall, that's the right sound for sure. Cool, I'm going to get an echo in here so we can get a nice return on the clap itself. There we go. And we want to see the sends, so let's see the sends. Let's get out of the way. Sending to echo, which should have 100%. It's a return track. 1, 2, 3. No, I don't want it to be that. I want it to be a reverb. That's it, yeah. Let's try mid-side. Hear how that sounds. Stereo 200%. 1, 2, 3. No, that's not really what I'm going for. That's not really what I'm going for. It's we're just going to fine-tune this clap sound. It's coming in a bit. I want to just keep it on that, so disable the. Cool. Let's take it off sync. It's interesting mid-side, eh? Interesting. Mid. Side's going crazy now. Sync off. Again. Okay, just tweaking this exact sound. I want to get it to sound great. And then feedback should be lower. Way too long. It's a second. Maybe not mid-side. I can't really hear the difference between mid-side and stereo, I'm afraid. It sounds better when I actually reduce the stereo amount. So yeah, cool. But anyway, you get the idea. We got... that's it. Let's leave it on post. Just getting to know this effect a little bit. Let's also roll off a bit more the high. I want it to be not so brittle, you know, not such a high end. Yeah, I see. That's what's going to happen if you... Okay, cool. Alright, so there's our trap beat. Not really trap, but it's a trap kit. Okay. We could also bring in the 808 at some point. Which is going to be this. A lot of this is going to revolve around my ability to hear stuff going on in the low end, which I don't have a lot of that ability with these headphones, but I'll do what I can. That one's in tune. Let's get that just as a baseline. Nice and loud. Let's pump it out. Here we go. The work is going to be done in the low end for this pack. Let's take out that kick just to... Okay, that's very... It's too reverberant. Very subtle. It's got to be subtle. Really talk much about these two drum kits today. I'm in the process of just creating a couple of options for drum kits for different different tracks. I've got to have different sounding drums, and these are the ones that have kind of stuck out to me so far, at least. I mean, I don't know if we can use all of them, but that could be one kit. And this other one over here, and that's a nice kick. Of course, layer kicks, you can have multiple kicks on one track. Nobody's stopping you doing that. Cool, we're just making a little bit of progress here. So I'm in the process of putting together Cyberpunk music template, something that's Ableton devices only. So it's portable, it's free of external VSTs, and then writing some music with that and releasing the music, and as well as the template. So you'll be able to use the template to make your own version of the track I release, or your own entire new track, whatever. I just want there to be more like sort of cyberpunk themed music templates for Ableton, so that's what I'm busy doing over the next couple of weeks. I'm using a lot of samples this time around. That's the main difference between how I've done it in the past and now. And yeah, I'm hoping to just basically expand on my own ability to do this, but yeah, mainly just to show up on these live streams and connect. Live has crashed, but the stream is over anyway, so yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you again tomorrow, 2 p.m. UTC. I'm here every day at that time. And yeah, thanks for being a part of this journey as always. If you want to support, you can sub on YouTube. You can also join as a patron, free or paid. Paid patrons get access to the entire library of music templates. So you'll see I've already released 23 of these templates on Patreon, and I'm releasing about 3 a month. So we'll definitely get to 50 by the end of the year. That's 50 packs that you can work on, or just if you want to work on 10% of them, then it's 5 packs for you to work on. And as the number of patrons grows, I'll tweak it as we go. But mainly it's just right now I'm just putting out the good stuff and hoping that it gets noticed by people who are also into making music and producing music. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks a lot, guys. You know where to find me. 2 p.m. UTC tomorrow. That's 9 a.m. Eastern. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride this last couple of days. This last week I've had issues with internet and power, and there was this one sample, I don't know if you know this, but there were 2 samples in one of those packs that I was using that were incorrectly formatted, and they sounded basically like they were like probably about 120 dB. So the effect on me was that I push a note, the wrong note, and the sample would just blow my ears off, my headphones, and also crash Ableton and OBS, which Ableton feeds audio into. So it was an audio signal equivalent of like a super volcanic blast, destroying everything. And so I hunted them down the other day and I absolutely destroyed them. They are no longer welcome. So stuff like that I've been having to deal with, and yeah, we're just continuing the good fight of like providing good quality Creative Commons music and music templates to people in Ableton, maybe also in other formats going forward. I'm dabbling a little bit with Fmod. Maybe I could release some packs or assets in Fmod. So yeah, if that all sounds like your wheelhouse, then hit sub, like, and I'll see you next time at the next stream. Thanks so much for